Wait, glasses or no glasses? What do you think? Glasses? No glasses? Fuck them. I'm going with the glasses. It's what I use to see. Yeah, whatever. They don't like it. I love when people call me hipster anyway. Anyway, we are here because I'm a big fan of car channels. I watch them a lot. And they do something, especially like car meets and stuff, they do something where they feature different vehicles and they just go, you know, tip to butt on the whole thing, and they describe the car. So I want to do something similar to that, where we're talking about a firearm that somebody has made. Rather than a product, I want to discuss something that somebody built. So this is like a builder's bench, where we're going to just talk about different vehicles. Different weapons.
So like, if someone has a special gun that they've built, they get a chance to explain why they added certain things.
Yeah, every single person does. This is what we see on the media stuff, is a lot of exactly that. It's a lot of like people advertising different products. They're trying to get you to put their products on their stuff. They're trying to tell you that you need this product. This lever is better, this button's better, blah, blah, blah. So people get inundated with that, and they think that that is what everyone does, and that's not true. Especially people in the military, the people that they listen to and respect, those people do like do-it-yourself customization type things all the time. We always do stuff like that. It is how you fix your gear to yourself. And I've seen a lot of not channels, but like businesses try to grab people and get them to buy products that have been solved with tape in the past or solved with a carabiner in the past. Things like that. They're not as, maybe their specifically made product is a little better, but it costs 100 times, literally sometimes 100 times more than just doing it yourself. And in the do-it-yourself world, just like with cars, that stuff gets very interesting when you see the people who actually build or use these things, these machines, gun or car. When you meet these people and see their builds, it's very interesting because a lot of them aren't just going off of what was on the shelf, and they're using what they had. And I'm not the first channel to do this, but I think it's cool, and I think we want to do it. And it's my damn channel, so I go first. And I'm going to show off my carry gun, my current carry gun.
This is a hit! And if you don't know, now you know. To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical positions in your bushes. Rock grooves and make moves with all the mommies. The back of the club, sipping my wet is where you find me. The back of the club, macking my crew's behind me. Mad question asking, passing, music lasting. But I just can't quit because one of these honeys Biggie got to creep with, sleep with, keep the ep a secret. Why not? Why blow up my spot? Cause we both got hot. Now check it. I got more Mac than Craig and in the bed. Believe me, sweetie, I got enough to feed the needy. No need to be greedy. I got mad friends with guns to see notes by the layers. True players. Jump in the rover and come over. Tell your friends jump in the GS3. I got the by the tree. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Papa's got a brand new. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Papa's got a brand new bag. And if you don't know,
and in a way, it kind of deserves elevator music. It is a Glock 19 carry gun. This is something that people do all the time. This is very, very common. And I'd like to start off by saying, I don't really like Glocks that much, or I didn't, but I'm carrying it to learn and to get used to things and try new stuff. But Glocks are incredibly popular, and the 19 especially is fading away from popularity, and the single stack guns are coming back, and I agree with that. I do not think that people need this big of a gun, but the Glock 19 is used in a lot of places that aren't America as a carry gun, in which case I would definitely support that because some of these people are far away from resupply, or it's just more convenient to carry larger magazines with more capacity in a lot of those situations. So the Glock 19 is the choice, so I got myself one and I'm carrying one. That way I can talk to people about it. Okay, so we'll just go front to back about the stuff I like. First thing that people notice about the gun is a lovely Rustoleum gray finish. Just beautiful. I think I did a great job. I think the can did a lot of the work. I spray paint a lot of my guns, in all seriousness. I think a lot of people do and they just don't talk, or they are tempted to do so and they don't talk about it. They're like, but you know, and this is, let me start here. I think it's perfectly okay if you want to color your gun whatever you want. You should be careful if you have a training gun and it's blue, you shouldn't paint your next gun blue. But a lot of people are just carrying guns. It's concealed carry, nobody sees them. If you want to have an orange gun, go for it. But just understand that people are going to mistake that for a fake gun, so choose your colors wisely. But I think customizing things is cool, and I think that spray painting stuff is cool. I think it gives it a little bit of character, and if it's only for aesthetics, who gives a shit? It's your fucking gun. It's your gun. Do what you want. Plus, the worn look comes out quick on spray paint, and what's cooler than the worn look? It makes it look like you've been in battle. It's great. This thing's been out of the safe like 20 times. What else? Okay, it's a Generation 3 Glock, which means it has a lot of stuff, in Glock's opinion, wrong with it. And I kind of share their opinion too. And one of those is the grip. So the grip on Gen 3s did not have a beaver tail that was able to be installed. You had to get this hokey thing. I forgot what company sells it. Probably a lot of companies sell it. But you had to get this hokey thing that you put through with a grip pin, and it made this beaver tail grip, and that way the slide wouldn't bite you, right? Well, Gen 3, I had to install my own, and I epoxied it and then melted it into the grip. So that's never coming off. And this grip pattern you see is like a tree bark grip. Man, this knocks out. I discovered it. I didn't discover it for myself. I discovered it by accident. It's being done professionally by a guy named, I swear to God, what was his name? Ziggy Stardust? No, David Bowie. I think it's David Bowie over at Bowie Tactical does these. And I'm not kidding. I think this is his real name. But he does this tree bark pattern professionally. I did it by complete accident. And it's just a happy accident. But I wound up doing a bunch of striations, a bunch of lines down the side of it, and I grabbed it, and son of a bitch, you know, I put fake blood, just soap and water. I put fake blood on my hands, and I tried it out like you should with your grip, and it works great. Really good pattern, awesome. Mimics tree bark, but for some reason just works really well with water, blood, sweat, all that stuff. Blood in theory. I have not bled on this gun yet. I don't think. Maybe from slide bite. All right, moving on. You're not going to get slide bite from this gun because there's a big thing on the back that is a unique item. And this is the RDIH TSSG safety device. That is a lot of words, but all it is a slide-mounted manual safety for the Glock. And I know immediately, just like I did, a lot of people are going to say, that is some hokey shit. Get that off my Glock. I don't need a safety. And I totally understand. I would like people to also understand that I, in carrying this, am going to aim this at my crotch or femoral artery all day. I can't carry a gun with a light this big on any other position on my body except appendix. And appendix comes with some safety concerns. And oh my God, I'm going through puberty. Safety concerns? Getting nervous just talking about it. Start. God, I hope we edit this out. But this safety device is no joke. I know that everyone's going to say, "Oh, you're just a shill for this company or whatever." I'm not. I bought this with my own money. I just want to try. I try new stuff all the time, and I gotta tell you, I was not sold on it even after I got it. I thought for sure something made of plastic. For some reason in my head, it's made of plastic, it's gonna fail. I'm a machinist by trade, I really like steel. And this is plastic, frankly. And it's a safety device, so I hold it in, I have a lot of scrutiny for stuff like that. So I tried it and tested it, called the company, said, hey, I'm looking at some of the stuff that I'm seeing wear here and there, right? And I just wanted to give them information, and I had some concerns. And who called me back but the co-founder of the company. The other co-founder is a former FN employee and not a small one. And he was happy to correct me on a lot of stuff. And I didn't get schooled or anything, but he did tell me a lot of information that kind of made me a lot more trusting in this device. So for one thing, this has been dropped from 28 feet, backwards. It's been dropped from 9 feet 28 times onto the housing, upside down like this. Oh, by the way, this has been checked, clear, and safe like 20 times before we did this video, but there it is. Landed like this on concrete, in safe position, and on the 28th time, the housing finally cracked, but the device still operated and was safe. Pretty awesome, right there. Second, this was viewed as a hypothetical alternative for when SIG was failing when they were failing their Army trials. Well, they passed the Army trials and then they figured out that they weren't drop safe. And they were redoing their triggers and stuff to make the 320 drop safe or the M17. And in the meantime, Glock was close behind, but their safety system sucked. It was actually did not pass a lot of stuff, so a lot of tests. So this was considered and actually worked better. It's been cycled over 10,000 times without failing. It's just a hell of a product, and I stumbled upon it by accident. And talking to the guy, I'm not getting anything for free. I'm not getting any money or anything. I just think this is really cool. And it's the best customer service experience I've had in over a year. So that's pretty neat. Anyway, thanks, Mark. It's a safety device. It works just like a Beretta slide-mounted safety. It's often thought that it's going to be uncomfortable because it's so far back. It's not. If you can operate a Beretta safety, you can operate this. It's about the same resistance. It's a really positive safety. 1911 guys are going to know what I'm talking about, where they're like, oh, I don't like it if it doesn't click super hard and I know that it's safe. I feel you. I'm a 1911 guy too. It's about as positive as you want it to be. It wears in just like anything else. Speaking of this side of the gun, a lot of people, Gen 4 fixed a problem with the magazine release. So the magazine release button is bigger on a Gen 4. On a Gen 3, it's smaller. This is one of the reasons that I picked a Gen 3, is that this button is smaller. The way I grip the gun, I grip it very far forward, and the meat of my hand tends to hit magazine releases that are extended or enlarged. So I went with this so that my magazine doesn't fall out of the gun. This, speaking of which, this is not the magazine that I carry. This is a magazine that I just use for practicing and stuff. I put it in here because it's supposed to be unloaded anyway. I almost never load this mag. It's a cheap piece of crap. I use standard Glock 15-round magazines. I don't change the base plates, and I don't get extendos. Not that you can't, but I don't know. 2 mags, 30 rounds, 9mm, flying ashtrays. That'll do it. So, and in a place like, if you're fighting in the sandbox or something, or doing some whatever undercover work, I guess, I would appreciate having a Glock 19. Just normal civilian stuff, you probably shouldn't be carrying something this big. And definitely not with a light. So I like having lights on guns. This gun happens to have a TLR1 from Streamlight on it. I think it's like 600 lumens. I haven't looked that up, but it's got to be there. 650, I think, last time I looked. Anyway, I painted that too because I wanted it to match. Woo! I did not paint the barrel, by the way. Everything else has paint on it pretty much, except for the trigger assembly. Mask off your stuff like you're supposed to. Back to the light. TLR1. You'll notice the only thing unique about this is, well, I've chopped it before to try to get it to fit on a USP. It did, but now I have a different light on that. The only other thing you'll notice is that I have a Ranger band on it. Ranger band. This is just a cut piece of tire, and you can see it shredded a little bit coming in and out of the holster. I'm gonna have to replace that soon. But this doesn't normally sit on a gun. It normally sits on my AK-47. And when this is on my Yugoslavian AK that sits inside of a bag all day, it gets bumped around quite a bit, and this Ranger band makes the tension on the toggle much, much more positive. And pretty much both directions, it's momentary. I have to push very hard to get it to stay on solid. And it's harder to have a negligent light discharge. So all those reasons are why I have a rubber band on my light. And I swap this light between things because I believe in not using or not spending more money than you need to. This light, if I'm carrying this gun and I'm carrying that AK, why would I need a light on both? Does that make sense? So yeah, and I put some last but not least, while approaching these little markings are red. I did red nail polish. I think it just looks so beautiful. It's so nice. I'll do some glamour shots too. That's literally aesthetics. Seriously, I practice what I preach. Like, if you're gonna do stuff to your gun, you can do stuff just because you think it's cool or it looks cool. That's okay. We need to start popularizing that, because people are very edgy, very judgmental about it too. It's like, let's let it go. It's their gun. Now, last but not least, the sights. These sights are the stock plastic sights. The only thing I've done to them is paint them with obnoxiously bright paint, and they're gonna get touched up again soon. I like having two different colors. All of my pistols are set up like this in one way or another. Sometimes it's a fiber optic, sometimes I have Novak sights too, but it's always orange in the back, yellow in the front. Yellow has always been a lot easier to catch them. It's just my experience. For some reason, I see yellow, and people do have different eyes, by the way. There are people that, I know, everybody has different eyes. Shut the fuck up. People have different rods and cone configuration in their eyes, and their eyes pick up different wavelengths of light better.
Or they could be colorblind.
Or colorblind. So, I pick up yellow better, I think. Most people pick up green a lot better, and they're fairly close on the spectrum. Anyway, I like yellow. If I could have a yellow-red dot, yellow dot all the time, I would, but they don't. It's uncommon. I think it's on Trigicons, and that's about it. But I like the two distinct colors. I like being able to have a blurry sight focus and yet have two colors, distinct colors, to line up in a blurry focus for out to, I'm not gonna put a number on it. Let's say 25 yards. You can get fairly accurate, just forgetting focusing on your gun at all, forgetting focusing on your sight, and you can get rounds minute of man that far down if you just use colors. And people don't do that. People like having blacked out sights, and I think it takes a little bit longer on the sight picture. Someday I'll come around and I'll just throw a fucking red dot on this thing, but I just am not there yet. And I haven't practiced with a red dot nearly enough to be like, I'll carry that. I know people are really good with them, and I'll get there. But right now, I just can't see myself spending that kind of money for nothing. That's it. Don't mess with the internals. I know people are gonna say, well, you mess with the safety that wasn't there. This is like an extremely passive device. The way that this disengages the trigger, here, I'll show you how it works actually. Before we go, this is the functionality of the gun. Everything's stock. This is the slide release is stock too, trigger stock, all the internals stock. This little device has just a little pin that moves in and out, and that little pin moving in disengages the trigger. And what happens is, and it can be operated on safe. That's really convenient. You can load and everything and still have your safety on. What up in position is safe, trigger's dead, won't do anything. Down position is fire, trigger's alive. Very simple. You can flick it back on safe after you've pulled the trigger, rack it. It's really nice. It's for like if you're practicing at home or something, it just makes me feel better. I know you're supposed to take stuff out. And even better than that, at the end of the day, I still have the old Glock plastic training barrel. This is really cool. You just drop it in there and you can, screw around and know that it's safe. And that's it.
Show me how it's done.
I highly recommend that. Show me how it's done?
Yeah, put it in there.
No, it's easy to swap in the barrel. Everybody knows, they're gonna know how to do that. You just pull the slide off, take the barrel out, put this barrel back in, everything else is normal, you can still fire the gun. It's awesome. Just saying, recommend, snag one, they're awesome. Did I mention they're awesome? I think I mentioned they're awesome. So that's it, that's my carry gun. I have it in a holster, obviously, and then I have a holster where if I ever wanna take the light off, and I can carry it. I can get away with it with the light, but it's a lot. It is a lot. You can't really do it with a t-shirt. You have to have like a button down that's loose, and taking the light off does a lot for concealment. It does. I fought against that for a long time, and now I really truly believe The light's not as necessary. There's a, what the hell is his name? From Vigilance Elite, I believe the man who runs it, he says all the time, I have a light on my phone, and I never don't have my phone on me. And he has a point. I know that other people will say lights and stuff like that, but he has a point. You always do have a light on you, and you can shoot a pistol with one hand. How awesome is that? So, other than that, stay tuned. We're going to have more of these. They're going to be my guns first, and then I'll start bringing in some other people, but I'll get through my little collection to give you guys a taste of the crazy stuff I do with my guns and how I like to set stuff up. And a lot of it's not stock, and it's not off a shelf. And I think we need to encourage people to do that. That's what all this is about. I think that's it. We done?
Yeah.
I think we're done.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.